Tonight, the Christian Council condemns Carnival. We've got reaction. Also, a suspected thief allegedly drowned attempting to evade police. And later, the Prime Minister offers new small business grants to inner city residents. This is Eyewitness News.
Eyewitness News brought to you by Flow Evo, powered by BTC. Flow Evo is here.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Janae Noel Ferguson. Thanks so much for joining us. Off the top tonight, strong criticism levied against Carnival organizers who, for the fifth year, will host the Road Fever March as a part of its schedule of events. Now, Christian Council President Apostle Delton Fernandez deemed the festivities as sexually charged and, according to him, has the potential to lead to violent crimes and rape. Now, April Sands joins me live in studio tonight to discuss the details. April, we understand that there are those participating in the event who believe that the Christian Council president should just stay out of it.
That's right, Janaea. I'll tell you, just from being in the field today, persons are more concerned about the council's intention and motive, more so than the council's viewpoint. Many persons, including pastors and even politicians who spoke to us off the record today, insisted they were more disappointed in the times the council has remained mum on issues that were pertinent to the country, particularly on recent issues. Janaea, you may recall that 15-year-old boy, Perry Roll Jr., who was stabbed to death by another teenager, and the recent death of a 53-year-old Defense Force officer, Philip Paul. Those two major issues are what persons say should have been on the council's agenda.
Vulgar and sexually charged is how the Bahamas Christian Council is describing the Bahamas Carnival Road Fever March set for this Saturday. The council's position on Carnival has not changed since its inception 5 years ago. In a statement, Christian Council President Bishop Delton Fernandez said, "With a mixture of men and women flaunting near-naked bodies, engaging in sexual contact with event participants, and the open flow of alcohol, we stand with each other who believe this event has the potential to lead to sexual violence, rape, and other violent confrontation." However, despite the bishop's strong stance, many persons challenged his argument.
Quite honestly, the church needs to work on the church.
I think the Christian Council should say what they believe and let the world do what they do, and then, let the chip fall where they may.
And there are those that argue that Carnival is about revenue and business. However, Bishop Fernandez says money is no excuse to sin.
The Bible is clear that money is the root of all evil. That we have to be careful that we don't sell our morality in pursuit of good time and in pursuit of financial gain.
After the statement circulated on social media, concerned persons expressed their issues there as well. Aisha tweeted this: "Well, kind sir, tell the Bahamas Christian Council that there are more pressing issues than Carnival. We need to save Conch first." @Mudasik posted a flyer by Millennial Vibes entitled, "Why are Millennials Not Attending Church? Part 2. Then tweeted, "This is pretty timely. I'd suggest the Christian Council tune in." But not everyone opposed the Christian Council's view. As a matter of fact, many agreed. But many noted the church should be more mindful and not cast judgment as a way to effectively win souls for Christ.
It's wrong to have it, period. And this time of the year, we're in the middle of the national exams. And so, no. Wrong time and wrong everything, wrong place. We have Junkanoo. We don't need Carnival.
It's a money thing, so we ain't really good for public eye and all that.
So you side with them?
I agree.
Janae, as you know, the Christian Council issued this same sort of statement last year criticizing Carnival. But I'll tell you, when we interview persons from Carnival, they're saying the statement won't affect them from having fun at all.
Thanks so much, April, and be sure to tune in to Beyond the Headlines tonight, where they will further discuss this issue. We'll have more on that later tonight at 7:30. Our April Sands joining us live in studio tonight. Well, following that statement issued by the Christian Council stating concerns about the vulgarity of Bahamas Carnival, the former chairman and marketing spokesperson for the Band Owners Association, Dario Torelli, is on the defense tonight, stating that the church has the whole idea about Carnival misconstrued.
It's fear-mongering, as though alcohol creates sexual violence. That don't happen. The music of Carnival is all about fun. Same thing as the music of Drake and Scrape and Junkanoo is all about fun. And I don't think they should put that fear in the Bahamas. Tons and tons of Bahamians, artisans, are doing their best to create as much beautiful costume as possible, and that's all we do. And so sex don't happen on the road. I would love for them to come on one of the trucks and see how decent we carry on in a good, fun way. But let me state it again. These are adults on the street parade having fun as best as possible, gyrating to a music as decent as possible, and having a wonderful time. For the spectators, be giving them a show. And if you don't want your kids out there, don't bring your kids out there. If you don't want Grammy out there, don't bring Grammy out there. But if she do come, that means she's enjoying a street parade.
Well, a brazen daylight robbery in a residential community in eastern New Providence played out like a daytime drama this morning. Police giving chase to a group of robbers, and a sudden twist led to one of them losing his life. Theo Seeley has the details.
Police tell us today that shortly after 10 Thursday morning, brazen bandits botched a burglary. 3 men allegedly set out to rob a home on Bay Lily Drive in Seabreeze Estates, but they had no idea that they were being watched by residents in the community who rang 911 to summon police to the area. Police press liaison Shanton Knowles says officers were on the scene in minutes.
They saw 3 men ran from a home. 2 of them they were able to capture and take into custody. A third jumped into the canal just at the rear of the house.
With 2 of his alleged accomplices in police custody, the lone would-be robber attempted to swim his way out of the tight situation, but that's when police say things got a little rocky.
Officers noticed that he was swimming west in the canal towards Gulf Coast Boulevard, and so we sent a patrol unit on this side of the community. Officers noticed that as he was swimming, he appeared to have been in distress. They rendered assistance to him by jumping into the water, brought him to shore, began to perform CPR until an ambulance came, and then he was pronounced deceased.
Further investigation on the other side of the canal revealed that there was an escaped vehicle parked in a vacant lot. Officers apparently found a number of suspected stolen items in that car. Knowles says community policing has once again saved the day.
It is because of community policing or people involvement in community policing that we can have a success like this one here today, where we can take 2 men into custody and probably question on other matters related within this same area, or if we see the MO fits in another area. So it is important for you to get involved with your local police. If you see information or if you see anything that can assist us, to give us a call so that we can look into it and stamp out crime in our communities.
Knowles could not confirm if the deceased or the men in custody are known to police for criminal activity. The identity of the deceased has not yet been confirmed, but he is believed to be between 25 to 30 years old. Theo Seeley, Eyewitness News.
More news from the crime beat tonight. Police in Exuma are investigating the circumstances surrounding the discovery of a body in a building under construction late last night. Now, according to reports, shortly after 8, police went to the building off Queens Highway near Bahama Sound Boulevard, where they discovered the body of a man lying on the floor. He was reportedly taken to the Exuma Primary and Specialty Facility in Georgetown, where he was pronounced dead. Police say the body will be flown here to the Capitol, where an autopsy will be performed to determine the exact cause of death. Well, also from the crime beat tonight, police back here in the Capitol recovered an assortment of drugs in a home on Dorchester Street off Virginia Street, and 2 men were taken into custody for that find. Drug Enforcement Unit officers reportedly searched the home and discovered 1 pound of marijuana worth $1,000, 2,425 ecstasy pills valued at $110 million, 10 methamphetamine pills, 13 oxycodone pills, 5,400 alloprosium pills and 1,090 Xanax pills. Now, police reportedly also searched a home on Marigold Farm Road and discovered a quantity of marijuana and assortment of credit cards. A woman who was in the home at the time of the search was taken into custody. Now, the drugs have an estimated street value of $3,200. Investigations are ongoing. Well, one member of parliament tonight is making his position on marijuana clear. This as the Marijuana Commission is preparing a report to present to government on the public's view of cannabis, which is still considered an illegal drug. But Exuma and Ragged Island MP Chester Cooper says the Bahamas must now adapt to global changes.
No, I've never smoked, and neither have I inhaled.
But Deputy Opposition Leader Chester Cooper is hoping that as the Marijuana Commission does its public consultation, more Bahamians, he said, should take a closer look at the benefits of decriminalizing marijuana.
And I support the legalization of medical cannabis, as I said before. And I repeat, I support the decriminalization of small amounts of recreational marijuana. The world has moved on this issue, Mr. Speaker. And it may be a risky position, but it's my position, Mr. Speaker.
Cooper, who also represents Exuma and Ragged Island, says it's time for the laws to change as far too many young men and women, he says, have been charged for drug possession, which has left them with little or no alternative.
We must take care, Mr. Speaker, not to make criminals out of our young men and women. We're giving these people criminal records, forcing them into the underworld as they can't get jobs, they can't obtain U.S. visas to travel to the U.S.
Now, he said it's hoped that government will review the laws and make progressive changes.
But we need to re-examine in this place as soon as possible and practical the quantities that meet the threshold of possession with intent to supply, Mr. Speaker. Absolutely not. And, Mr. Speaker, we as a matter of national urgency should examine the laws and the guidelines to expunge the records of all those convicted of possession of small quantities, to be determined and defined, Mr. Speaker.
Well, in other news tonight, Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis is denying that the recent shakeup in the Royal Bahamas Police Force was politically motivated. During a town meeting last night, Dr. Minnis said the forced retirement of senior police officers was in line with the needs of the police force. However, he said the comments by opposition leader Philip Davis suggest that the PLP has in the past appointed officers based on their political affiliation.
His comments suggest that he knows the politics of the members of the force, including senior officers. You know, I did not know their politics until the leader of the opposition revealed their politics. This shows how the PLP has attempted to politicize the police force and everything else. His comments also suggest that as Prime Minister, which he never would become, he would appoint senior officers who are PLP while discriminating against FNMs.
Well, during that town meeting, Dr. Minnis also announced that the government will open a small business development center in the inner city and offer no repayment grants to persons hoping to become entrepreneurs.
We are creating a new program just for the inner city where small businesses, barber shops, beauty salon, tire repair shop, arts and crafts, landscaping, and other light industries can come to the center and have access to $2,500 to $3,500 to assist their business.
Well, we're just getting started in Eyewitness News, but when we come back, the taxi cab union calls off its planned industrial action. Find out why. And later, tourism numbers are up for the first quarter of this year. We've got more on that, but first, here's a quick check on tonight's weather forecast.
don't make the cars drive better. We don't make the boats ride better. And we definitely don't make the planes fly better. The one thing we do better at J.S. Johnson is give you peace of mind knowing that your insurance needs are covered. We understand how important your business is to you, whether you're just starting out or a national treasure. Let us take the risk out of your business. J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers, giving you peace of mind.
Well, you're looking at live pictures over Gladstone Road, where the temperature is right around 80 degrees with an expected dip to 75. This is Eyewitness News. Welcome back. Well, the taxicab union finally had their meeting with Transport and Local Government Minister Renwood Wells after 3 months of failed attempts, and now the union says they're looking up. Things, rather, are looking up. Janelle Longley has the details in this report tonight.
Following a number of alleged declined phone calls and unsuccessful visits to the minister's office, the Bahamas Taxi Cab Union finally got its meeting with the Transport and Local Government Minister, Renwood Wells. And according to the union's president, Wesley Ferguson, changes are being made.
I had a lot of information for us as his proposal for the way ahead for the taxi industry and what the position is on the moratorium on taxi plates.
After the government's decision to make taxi plates and SD plates the same color, taxi drivers have alleged that persons were using SDs to steal taxi business wrongfully, giving tours and lifts to tourists without having required clearance from the Road Traffic Department. Since then, Ferguson said the minister has completed an audit and he saw what the union has alleged for months.
They have done a very extensive and comprehensive audit of the Road Traffic Department, which he agreed was in a chaotic and, for lack of a better word, it was in just disarray. Everything was out of place, and it was for years. We will now be out of that situation where the taxi plates and the SD plates are the same color.
The union president said that taxi drivers now have until the end of the month to register for their new plates. And in the meantime, he says that the union has offered the minister some points to deal with the issues in the interim.
We give him the information that he needs so that he can have a clear picture of the way ahead and how to iron out the many downfalls or the many issues in the taxi industry without having, having an abrasive relationship with the taxi union.
Now, despite not being able to provide extensive details on the new taxi moratorium, Ferguson did say that the union plans to lean heavily on the transport minister to ensure that all of their well overdue needs are met. Janelle Longley, Eyewitness News.
Thanks, Janelle. Well, Tourism Minister Dionisio de Aguilar says tourism figures continue to prove promising in 2019. Earlier this year, tourism officials confirmed that stopover arrivals spiked in January and February, and the tourism minister says that there's been no decrease in that momentum.
We had an unprecedented growth in stopover arrivals, up 23%. I mean, that is phenomenal. So, I continue to say that the Bahamas is on fire. We are doing exceptionally well in terms of tourist arrivals. And when you factor in cruise arrivals, the overall uptick in tourist arrivals for the first 2 months of 2019 is just slightly over 16%, which is phenomenal.
Well, the increase, he says, is not just being experienced in New Providence. It's a success story that all islands are telling, says the tourism minister.
All of the islands are doing very well. Even Grand Bahama had an increase in stopover visitors of 8%. Exuma's up over 20%. Eleuthera is up over 20%. Abaco is up high 15, 16, 17%. So yes, this is being felt throughout the length and breadth of the country. And even in Nassau, where we're doing it very, very well, and one might say, oh, it's because of Bahama. But what we're noticing is that all of the hotels are doing well. There's been no cannibalization, first of all, in occupancy, and no reduction in rate. So the hotels are all doing really well.
That wraps up news, but Randy Smith, he's off the top with the latest in sports. Good evening, Randy.
Janae, the Freedom Farm Baseball League is working on a new initiative to help promote school-age athletes. We have more from the league organizers coming up in Eyewitness Sports.
Katie, time. I could walk 316 in Chicago today. Honey, I get into the shop.
Okay, babe.
Hey, you gonna tell her which shop you're going to? You gonna let her know where I going?
Your priorities mix up. How much is that for your rent?
My rent straight.
Car insurance?
Car insurance straight too.
Lights, cable, water, groceries, leisure, things for the apartment?
Okay, I got it.
Honey, where the lunch money for the children?
Take care of your priorities first. Remember, it's only a game, so please, game responsibly.
Y'all want to win some money or what? I need some serious people on this stage. There she go. 200, 400, 600. Oh, she joking.
One of these gifts got a check for $10,000.
Oh,
1,000 the ball tonight. You're going to need your own money.
the money in number 7. Well, boy.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Randy Smith, and welcome to Eyewitness Sports. Well, like I said earlier, the Freedom Farm Baseball League is said to honor several mentors and coaches who have served at the field over the last 30 years and helped to make it what it is today.
Today, we are here to just speak briefly about those who would have contributed to the Freedom Farm program over the years and mention the celebration that is planned on the 11th of May at the Holy Cross Parish Hall, where we'll recognize and say thanks to over 30 persons who would have worked hard, who would have assisted in coaching and mentoring the kids in Freedom Farm over those 30 years. The honorees will be from the first 20 years of Freedom Farm existence. So we take time out to say thanks for their hard work, thanks for mentoring, and thanks for the just all-around contribution that they give to the development of this program.
I am an honoree, and I am extremely grateful that the organizers thought to recognize me and the contributions I have made to Freedom Farm over the years. I've been a part of this organization since 1998, and I've seen Freedom Farm grow, and the young men and women who have been a part of the farm have grown.
Also, plans continue to come together for the upcoming Rotary of East Nassau Charity Golf Tournament, along with the fact that every dollar donated will be given to charity. Their promise is to be some good prizes for the participants.
The tournament is done in pairs. It's best ball, and there are a number of prizes. Atlantis very kindly donates a number of prizes, gift certificates for some of their restaurants. Bahamar also does that. Lots of other corporate sponsors who may not be able to provide cash towards the thing give prizes. We have plane tickets and stays in Abaco and Harbor Island and things like that. So there are fantastic prizes, and if you ask the local golfing community, this is a tournament that they always like to sign up for because there's lots of good prizes.
And in basketball news, the Bahamas Basketball Federation is hosting tryouts on Saturday for the under-17 boys team at Kendall Isaacs. The team will represent the Bahamas this summer at both the FIBA America qualifiers and Central Basket Championships. Well, that does it for us in sports, but stay tuned. Eyewitness News continues in a moment. I'm Randy Smith. Have a great evening.
It's 5 events, 3 nights, 1 epic weekend. BTC and Kalik presents the Bahamas Carnival Experience from May 3rd to May 5th at Clifford Park and Arawak KB. Night 1 and 2. There'll be 2 stages, the main stage and the Kalik Light Foam Pit. For all you revelers who want to stay in the elements of Fete all night, we have an area just for you. And for you concert goers who just want to stay clean and enjoy the show, the main stage is all yours. Access to both areas are included in all ticket prices. So come and enjoy your favorite local soca and dancehall artists like Bunja Garland, Kes the Band, Dexter Daps, Patrice Roberts, and the king of soca himself, Machel Montano. Early bird tickets are only $40 for general and $60 for VIP for Friday and Saturday, and $20 for the Sunday beach party. Don't miss it.
The woman either win $10,000 or $50,000. Jesus Christ!
It all comes down to this. Sebastian, CEO of Island Luck, is presently in the air.
Go up! And we got ourselves a winner right here! Let me bring out the leader of the woman there. $20,000! Well, my God!
You're watching Eyewitness News.
Well, welcome back. Coming up and Beyond the Headlines with Clint Watson, a discussion about Carnival and the views of the church. It's going to be a hot discussion that's coming up on Beyond the Headlines that starts right after this. Well, that does it for us here at Eyewitness News. It's certainly been a pleasure having you in our company tonight. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Janae Noel Ferguson saying good night.
Coming up tonight, it's the big discussion every year around this time. The Christian Church condemning Carnival hours before the big weekend kicks off, going as far as to say it's sexually charged and dangerous that could lead to rape. The church says the vulgarity and lewd activities are no-no for the Bahamas. But Carnival supporters say it's driving much-needed heads and beds through tourism and helping local vendors to make money. Tonight, we take this debate on and look at both sides with our panel of contributors. Beyond the Headlines starts now. The church and Carnival butts head again as hours before the weekend kicks off. The church is criticizing the event, describing it as an attraction for rape. Good evening, everyone. I'm Clint Watson. Welcome to the show tonight. Well, strong criticism tonight levied against Carnival organizers who, for the 5th year, will host a Road Fever March as a part of its schedule of events. Now, Christian Council President Apostle Delton Fernanda deemed the festivities as sexually charged and, according to him, has the potential to lead to violent crimes and rape. Now, April Sands joins me live in studio tonight to discuss the details. April, we understand that there are those who participate in this event who believe the Christian Council president should I say, stay out of it all?
Yeah, well, that's what people are saying. Clint, I'll tell you, just from being in the field today, persons are more concerned about the council's intention and motive more so than the council's viewpoint. Many persons, including pastors and even politicians who spoke to us off the record today, insisted they were more disappointed in the times the council has remained mum on issues that were pertinent to the country, particularly on recent issues. Clint, you may recall that 15-year-old boy, Perry Roll Jr., who was stabbed to death by another teenager, and the recent death of a 53-year-old Defense Force officer, Philip Paul. Those two major issues are what persons say should have been on the council's agenda.
Vulgar and sexually charged is how the Bahamas Christian Council is describing the Bahamas Carnival Road Fever March set for this Saturday. The council's position on Carnival has not changed since its inception 5 years ago. In a statement, Christian Council President Bishop Delton Fernandez said, "With a mixture of men and women flaunting near-naked bodies, engaging in sexual contact with event participants, and the open flow of alcohol, we stand with each other who believe this event has the potential to lead to sexual violence, rape, and other violent confrontation." However, despite the bishop's strong stance, many persons challenged his argument.
Quite honestly, the church needs to work on the church.
I think the Christian Council should say what they believe and let the world do what they do, and then, let the chip fall where they may.
And there are those that argue that Carnival is about revenue and business. However, Bishop Fernandez says money is no excuse to sin.
The Bible is clear that money is the root of all evil. That we have to be careful that we don't sell our morality in pursuit of a good time and in pursuit of financial gain.
After the statement circulated on social media, concerned persons expressed their issues there as well. Aisha tweeted this, "Well, kind sir, tell the Bahamas Christian Council that there are more pressing issues than Carnival. We need to save Conch first." @Mudasik posted a flyer by Millennial Vibes entitled, "Why are millennials not attending church? Part 2. Then tweeted, "This is pretty timely. I'd suggest the Christian Council tune in." But not everyone opposed the Christian Council's view. As a matter of fact, many agreed. But many noted the church should be more mindful and not cast judgment as a way to effectively win souls for Christ.
It's wrong to have it, period. And this time of the year, we're in the middle of the national exams. And so, no. Wrong time and wrong everything, wrong place. We have Junkanoo. We don't need Carnival.
It's a money thing, so we ain't really good for public eye and all
So
that.
you side with them?
I agree.
Now, Clint, as you know, the Christian Council issued this same sort of statement last year criticizing Carnival. But I'll tell you, when we interviewed persons from Carnival, they're saying the statement won't affect them from having fun at all.
All right, April Sands. And April, before we go, we want to say that there was a statement, based on the statement that was issued, obviously, concerning the vulgarity. We also spoke to Mr. Torelli, Daryl Torelli, who is defending that. He is, of course, a spokesperson for all of the bands. I want to play his clip so we can hear that, and we'll come back with some feedback on that. Here's what Daryl Torelli had to say.
It's fear-mongering, as though alcohol creates sexual violence. That don't happen. The music of Carnival is all about fun. Same thing as the music of Drake and Scrape and Junkanoo is all about fun. And I don't think they should put that fear in the Bahamas. Tons and tons of Bahamians, artisans, are doing their best to create as much beautiful costume as possible, and that's all we do. And so sex don't happen on the road. I would love for them to come on one of the trucks and see how decent we carry on in a good, fun way. But let me state it again. These are adults on the street parade having fun as best as possible, gyrating to a music as decent as possible, and having a wonderful time. For the spectators, be giving them a show. And if you don't want your kids out there, don't bring your kids out there. If you don't want Grammy out there, don't bring Grammy out there. But if she do come, that means she's enjoying a street parade.
All right, April. So basically, based on what you were canvassing the area today, does it appear is it split, or do we have more people supporting Carnival or more people supporting the church?
You know, everyone pretty much shared the same view. They're not mad at the Christian Council for having this. This is their role. They're playing their role, and this is what we expect them to say. So no one's mad at what they're saying. It's more so they're mad at the fact that they have to kind of search through when was the last time the Christian Council made a statement or comment on something that was a little bit more important. They just feel as though they're being targeted. And so it kind of feels like an attack for a number of persons. It was a shared view amongst everyone who we spoke to tonight.
All right, thank you very much, April Towns, reporting in studio tonight. Thanks a lot, April, for that. Well, this brings us to our guests, our contributors tonight. My guest contributors, Joey Gaskins and Levon Miller. They're here in the house to talk more about this issue. Welcome, guys, to the show. Great to have you.
Good to be back.
Okay, so let's jump right into it because, you know, we're going to hear the first jingle play for the commercial break. So, the Christian Council does what it does every year at Carnival. And I'm wondering, because I'm treading lightly because I'm a member from the church, so I try to walk.
I'm sandwiched between the two of you then.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my thing though is, if you're going to criticize, why criticize hours before it begins? What are you hoping to do? Change it from happening? Are you hoping? What is the purpose of you releasing a statement? Is it to stop it? And if you're trying to stop it, why would you release a statement so close to it rather than in advance? And if it's not to stop it, if it's to continuously voice disapproval for it, then why are you silent the entire year around and you wait till the day before? Is my concern.
Well, Clint, let's be honest. If the church decided that they wanted to let out a press release in November about its views on Carnival, which news house would even carry that story, right? So it's about relevance. We have to remember now that the church is in the world. So they have to operate along many of the same guidelines that the world has to operate on. Timing is everything. They need to have their messaging on point. I mean, what sense would it be for the church to be addressing an issue that's a non-issue at the time? And unless, of course, the church decides it wants to buy a media house so that they can carry their own stories, I don't foresee the good bishop or his council being able to get carriage in the news over issues that are not actual pressing issues at the time.
I don't think that's true. Every time they open their mouth, somebody carries their
Not
story.
so, not so.
And I don't even understand why. So I'm gonna take a unusually extreme position on this for me. And I disagree with you entirely on that.
But I want to say that I've seen the Christian Council speak on some occasions. Their stories, like those of the DNA, end up on page 11. All right? And so, I mean, can you say that the Christian Council is absolutely silent? Maybe it's an arguable point. The point that I make, though, is that a lot of the churches in the Bahamas operate underneath the banner of the Christian faith. And I believe that collectively, the Christian Council is the beneficiary of all of the efforts of small pocketed institutions, churches, etc., that are out there operating the soup kitchens and taking care of the motherless and the fatherless and doing the mandate of the church. So is the council doing that? Possibly not. But I mean, if a member of my team shoots a hoop, it's a point for my team, right? So if I've got Christian pastors out there doing evangelistic work, doing missionary work, then can I in fact say that the Christian Council and its members are wanting?
Here's what I have the issue with, and Joe, you can tell me if I'm right or wrong. Here's the issue I have, and I'm going to say this at the fear of criticism from many people as a member of the church. My problem I have with this is, I think we attack the wrong areas as the Christian church, rather than going after what we need to go after. For the church, you cannot tell the people in the world, don't act like the people in the world. The people in the world will do the people in the world thing. They will sin. That's what they do. They're sinners, they're going to sin. If the people in the world operate with worldly principles, that's what they do. But it's not what you do as a church. And my thing is, you've been called as a church to go and reach souls, to be the commission that goes out and reach souls. So your focus should be around Carnival, to get your churches together. And if you believe that you have the message of power, Why not go and evangelize? Hold on, let me finish. Why not go and evangelize or reach souls?
Yeah.
The same souls that you are talking about who are gyrating are people that you can reach year round.
agree.
If you reach me year round, I will have a need to go to Carnival in May if by October you don't reach me on the street and evangelize.
Some of the people
But
on
the
the road
problem is
parishioners.
the church is so quick to
that's the
point
other thing.
fingers, but it is ineffective in its ability to convert people to its message. If Carnival can convert, if Carnival is a form that came from other areas, other Caribbean countries, and Bahamians can be converted so easily to going on the street and conducting themselves in the way they do. If Carnival can convert Bahamians and Christianity can't, something wrong.
Well, I mean, the fact of the matter is, and I said this earlier today on the radio station, is that this is the dying scowl of a failed institution.
Joey, my
It
God.
really is, and I know that's painful to say because
Oh, my God.
as I said on the radio, it is not like the church does not have a place in our society. It is not like the church is not an institution that is important to people and to Bahamian culture and to Bahamian history. But its failure to engage with the body of Christ, with people who are around us, with people who are on the streets, is a failure. And Aggie telling me to take a break, but I just getting started. Y'all running on.
And the reality is we've lost a lot of the reverence for God because of the failure of the church. People in this country used to pass a funeral and turn their music down. People would never go to a funeral and stand outside with a t-shirt and drink. You know why they do it now? Because there's no longer reverence and respect for the church, because people in the church have degraded the sacredness of holiness and godliness. So I believe before the church can criticize the world for doing what the world does, it needs to criticize itself for not being effective as a body. We're coming right back. Stay
Thank you.
close.
That's our show. Thanks.
Payday. Time. I could walk you 16 in Chicago today. Honey, I get into the shop.
Okay, babe.
Hey. You gonna tell her which shop you're going to? You gonna let her know where I going? Your priorities mix up. How much is that for your rent? My rent straight. Car insurance? Car insurance straight too. Lights, cable, water, groceries, leisure, things for the apartment. Okay, I got it.
Honey, what the lunch money for the children?
Take care of your priorities first. Remember, it's only a game, so please, game responsibly.
Hello, I'm Gershon Major, CEO of the Bahamas Gaming Operators Association. Are you or a loved one suffering from a gambling addiction? Do you find yourself more often than not having to choose between your daily expenses and this form of entertainment? If you've answered yes to these questions, we are here to help. At the BGOA, our doors are always open. There are several mechanisms in place to protect you as a player as part of our industry's responsible gaming program. If you find yourself or someone you know slipping through the cracks, please come in and visit us at number 41 Top of the Hill Mackey Street for an assessment, immediate assistance, or professional intervention at no cost to you. Remember, it's only a game, so please do so responsibly. For more information, please contact us at 603-2083. Visit our website at bgoabahamas.com or call our hotline at 808-9509.
Welcome back. We're talking about Carnival and, of course, the Christian Council statement to that effect. And I want to begin this segment by talking about the business side of things first before we go back to the church, because people are talking about, what price do you pay? And I tell people, whatever views you have on it, it's entirely up to you. Whether you are against it, whether you support it, it's entirely up to you. My concern is we're talking about a tourism brand product. And a lot of people say, why are we going after Carnival and we're not endorsing John Canoe? Well, we've seen that John Canoe for many years, as much as it's our culture, We can't get it together to get the business of John Canoe up and running all of these years. In the short 5 years, I think it's been, the Carnival has been on. Carnival has done more business, the business of bringing guests and heads and beds here than John Canoe has done. John Canoe has the potential to be so much more than it is, but we've not been able to get the business side of it done. And when you look at what these companies, these bands who are together in Carnival, when you see the amount of revenue they're generating by paying, people are paying costumes that come from all over the world. John Canoe could have done that a long time ago, but we can't get it together because, first of all, we don't know how to work together as a Bahamian people on anything. And so we see the business that Carnival has generated, and it's causing people who have small businesses to be able to generate incomes. These bands are generating incomes. People now coming to the Bahamas for it. It's doing what tourism said it should have been doing for a long time. A big part of the goal of tourism is entertainment and cultural tourism. And that's what Carnival is doing. It's a part of the entertainment part of tourism. And it's working at what it's doing.
I don't think people realize as well, especially if you're not involved in Carnival culture or fed-in culture, that Bahamas Carnival is becoming a part of the Carnival tour in the world, right? So you have Toronto, you have Barbados Crop Over, you have Trinidad Carnival, you have Notting Hill Festival in London, and Bahamas Carnival, because of how close it is to the United States, because of its accessibility, because of the one-to-one, and because of our the number of rooms that we have, we are growing as
and we're
a
seeing
part
the
of
figures.
that. We're seeing the figures.
Data can't lie.
But
We've seen in data where you can't get a flight into the Bahamas around Carnival time because they're all booked out.
But Clint, I think the other thing, and to your point about John Canoe is, and this is a lesson that the church can learn as well, right? Bahamian cultural traditionalists have held such a tight grip on the cultural products of the Bahamas that in many instances, young people do not see themselves reflected in the cultural products of the Bahamas, the traditional cultural products of the Bahamas. The failure to evolve around what's going on means that young people see themselves and their lives more in things like dance hall, culture, reggae, and hip hop, and not in our own culture. And the same thing with the church.
But we do all things around here like that, right? So the issue with John Canoe, to my mind, is that we've overly regimented it, right?
Exactly.
It's not a fun event. It's a come sit down on a bleacher, only walk in this area, don't walk outside of this area, police barricades everywhere. Carnival, though, is more in keeping with what we as Caribbean little island nations like.
Swings the door
a little
open.
jump in the line, I could feel good, put this little costume on, come out here in my t-shirt sometime, and shake up in the road, right? And I think we continue to try to hold on to the relics of our colonialization when we try to make our festivals so organized. That's not who we are. And I think that's where we lost it with John Canoe, right? And to the people that says, you can't worry about the economics, but you have to worry about the economics. We as a country invested $27 million. I thought it was asinine, foolhardy, flat-footed, whichever adjective you choose to use, that the administration decided that on day one, they would come and hand over a $27 million investment without gaining back a single penny of the people's money. Now, I like the organizers of the Carnival weekend. I don't like them enough to hand over a $27 million product. And I think it was bad politics. It was, and to the people that says, oh, you can't worry about recouping the money, or you can't fix something that was broken, I think that's
I think the government made it too political, and they handed over an industry to a private sector. The government should have had a hand in it. And now the Treasury of the Bahamas, the government should have had a hand in it. And it was political. It was political because Carnival was started by the previous administration. This administration
said, such a stink about it.
Right. This administration said we don't want no part of it. And it's political. Again, this is how we lose in our country because we don't know how, as mature people in government, how to separate politics.
I think you're using the wrong adjective. It was asinine, is what it was. All right, because the government could have done exactly with Carnival as it has done with BTC, Alive, and all other people around here. Hold a minority stakehold and tell you what, I ain't giving you a dime, I ain't contributing no effort. At the end of the year, cut me a check.
I want to get back to the fact, after we've talked about the economics of it, of the message of the church. Because I don't want people to think that I'm in no way going against the church or no way disagreeing with the church. My point is, I believe the reason why we're not as effective as we can be, people in the church world, is because we go about church work the wrong way. The one fundamental thing of Christ in the church is to show love. And when we get into these heated debates, people sit there and wonder, well, where's the love from the church? Where's the love for these people? Where's the love from people? I mean, even just thinking about this show, we reached out to so many church leaders to come on tonight, since the church is so strong about this, and nobody wanted to come on. Nobody wants to go on. But there was one particular one particular minister, pastor, that said to me, oh, I'm not coming on that station because that station is owned by numbers people. And that's my one reason for not coming on. And it took all of the Lord in me to just say, thank you, sir, and hang the phone up. Because I said to myself, this is why people don't want our gospel. Because
it's a gospel of condemnation.
It's condemning. It's always condemning.
It's a gospel of
always
condemnation.
It is not always condemning.
It is not an inclusive gospel. It is not a welcoming gospel. And that is what you see in here.
It's condemning.
And to Lee's point earlier,
hold on,
wait. To Lee's point earlier, when he was like, what do you want to do? Hand out towels with scriptures on it? Jamaica Carnival, which is now becoming one of the big carnivals. There were churches out at Jamaica Carnival handing fetters, bottles of water with scripture on it, saying, you guys have fun,
Smart.
be safe,
Wise.
stay hydrated, right?
But
there's a
wise.
logistical message in there's a logistical message in the message of Christ, right? Christ tells us to go where the sinner is. And if you can't get any traction, then dust your feet off and move on. He also tells us if your eyes are causing you to sin, what do you need to do with them? Pull them out.
Well, I don't,
Take them out.
Joey, I don't know if I want to go to that extreme end of the gospel.
I mean, but look at this. These people are saying, because there are naked women on the street, it's going to lead to rape, which is a poor rationale to begin with.
Let me say that I thought that the letter that has the bishop's name assigned to it, I thought it was kind of strong. As a matter of fact, I know the bishop well. It doesn't even sound like his language to me, quite honestly.
I know him well as well.
Right?
That's not him.
But whenever I talk about the Christian church, I like to always make sure that I go back to Paul, right? Because he is the chief apostle of the church, right?
Right.
And Paul admonishes the church in, I think, Corinthians chapter 9, that, hey, brethren, I have had to become all things to all men, so that I could win some. That's where Paul advised the church to be.
Yeah.
Paul also turned around, right, and said to Timothy, listen to me, there's going to become a time that people are going to have itchy ears. I admonish you, preach the gospel. And once the church does that, I have no issue.
Yeah.
People can feel however they want to do about it. Preach the gospel.
Preach the gospel.
This ain't preaching the gospel, though.
You've done your
Preach
part.
the gospel.
I am with
Live the example. And these same people who you are having a problem with may someday turn around to you and say, can you help me find a better way? But how can you reach them when you've been so condemning and condoning to them? And then on the next wavelength, since you don't want to be a part of anything that have to do with Carnival, all these businesses who have sponsored Carnival, the BTCs, the big companies and so forth, don't take their money from them. Don't take the money from the employees who come to your church every Sunday who work for them. Don't take their tithes. Don't take their money.
Tithes from the numbers
Keep
boys.
on standing. Keep on standing.
Yes.
Oh, but I bet you won't do that though.
Yeah, no, that's where
we're
the
back after
hypocrisy
this.
comes in.
It's 5 events, 3 nights, 1 epic weekend. BTC and Calic presents the Bahamas Carnival Experience from May 3rd to May 5th at Clifford Park and Arawak KB. Night 1 and 2. There'll be 2 stages, the main stage and the Calic Light Foam Pins. For all you revelers who want to stay in the elements of Fete all night, we have an area just for you. And for you concert goers who just want to stay clean and enjoy the show, the main stage is all yours. Access to both areas are included in all ticket prices. So come and enjoy your favorite local soca and dancehall artists like Bunja Garland, Kes the Band, Dexter Daps, Patrice Roberts, and the king of soca himself, Machel Montano. Early bird tickets are only $14 for general and $60 for VIP for Friday and Saturday, and $20 for the Sunday beach party. Don't miss it.
Welcome back, and we've been having a discussion about this carnival. We're wrapping it up in a couple of minutes.
Y'all have been having a discussion.
Yeah, but I think it's so important to say. I think it's so important to talk when we talk about what's right, what's wrong, what's moral. And somebody said it correctly. And I think that we have to understand that as your Christian faith and Christian believers in this nation, you cannot be afraid of when the world does things to be able to go where they're at with your message of hope and love and find a better way. If I had listened to many people, and I'm going to be right frank, if I had listened to many people in the church, I would not have left where I came from and come here. But I can say without a shadow of a doubt, I believe I've impacted more people.
Have you seen the hand of the
more
Lord?
people through my Christian faith by coming here and being able to speak truth to power than I would have done in another place. But to the average person who's the regular person, some person, they told me, oh, I had missed the call of God. I had missed hearing from God. And I said, no, I'm going to where the people are at. Why y'all stay where y'all think the people should come to you? That's why your churches are empty. Because nobody coming to you. You have to go where the people are at and take the message of hope to the people. They ain't coming to you because they still ain't trust you. Right. They still ain't sure that you're pure motives. But go where they are and you will see the strength of your Christianity. If you could go into those environments and still have a message for people and still maintain your character and integrity, then you have a message.
And I think that for me, you know, when I say that the church is a failed institution, the fact that the church must always run to government to set rules in place, must always tell us, you can't watch this, don't go out there and do that. It says to me that your message isn't strong enough. If I have the best argument in the room, no matter what you're doing, I'm going to take that argument to you. I'm going to persuade you and convince you that this is the right way to go. And the church always is looking for a way around actually doing the preaching of the gospel to influence legislation, influence politics, influence all these things instead of doing what Christ asked you to do. The other thing is, and I think that this is what's partially missing from the argument as well, is that this rationale in this letter is dangerous.
Yeah.
This is what we refer to in sociological circles as rape culture. Saying that people wearing skimpy clothes can lead to rape, particularly women, can lead to rape is a problem. Yeah. Because no matter if you have a maxi dress on or a mini dress on, or if you're naked in a bathing suit, whatever it is, if you're a full-grown woman, if you're a young girl, you can still be a victim of rape.
How many girls have been raped coming from church?
Exactly.
How many girls have been raped in the church?
In the church.
In the church, so, by church people. How many rapists are people who came from the church?
And what this rationale also suggests is that men in particular cannot control themselves when they look at a woman's body.
Exactly.
And men should be insulted by that.
Well, let me say this, right? And again, I chuckle at people that says, oh, you know, these pastors are destroying the Christian message, et cetera, et cetera. Well, perversion among the church isn't a new thing, right?
No, it's not.
Paul wrote in his letter, I think it is Corinthians 5 or something like that. He said, brethren, you're grinding more than the Gentiles. That shouldn't be happening. What you're all doing is not even accepted among the sinners. And so, I mean, we have to remember that the preachers are men, right? And they're imperfect, and as such, sometimes the church will find itself in an imperfect position.
They have to remember that we are as well, though, because
and that is why Paul said to them, whenever you see this kind of perversion, remove yourself from it. So I shouldn't see the church at Carnival.
But let's be consistent. If we're saying that an event that has vulgar music, loud music, alcohol, and women in scanty clothes, dancing on the streets is wrong, then that's to describe any other cultural event that we have in our country. It should describe any bear fest. It should describe church fairs that I see selling liquor and playing local music and playing secular music. There's so many areas that do the same thing. Why do we focus on one and don't focus on the other? We've seen videos all over YouTube going wild with young people over the streets carrying on cussing and doing foolishness, and you hear nothing from the church.
Yes. All my point is I don't think sinners ought to be mad at the church for doing what it is that they've been, asked to do by the apostle.
I'm mad at the church because I think you ought to be more consistent in what you do. I also believe that you should, instead of complaining about it, take your message to where it is.
They preach in their pulpits every Sunday. They affect the life of parishioners every Sunday.
Who in their church?
I don't know. All I'm saying is the chief apostle of the church has given them one mandate. Preach the gospel. He's also said to them, stay away from the
park and have church. That's you. Go reach the people. Why you can't test your gospel? Close them churches down. Go meet in the park. Go meet on the street and reach people. When you don't reach people, listen. Reach the people. Reach the people. And I want one call me or call my parents or call my church or call somebody. Call me. Please call me. Call me. Call me.
Call Glenn.
Call me. Your Parliament tonight. Call me.
Don't call me.
Call me. That's our show. Good night. Thanks for joining us. Good night.